The year is 1475. Francisco Pizarro was born a bastard to a poor farmer in Spain. Nobody expected much out of him, but little did they know he would become one of the most famous explorers in the New World, help conquer the Incan Empire, and bring home the spoils of war, such as the potato, which revolutionized food in Europe. I'm Dawson Bridges, and this is Pursuit of Pizarro. A little known fact about Francisco Pizarro is that before he went down to South America and encountered the Incas, he was with Balboa exploring Central America and the untamed wilderness the Spanish had never seen before. He even discovered the Pacific Ocean with Balboa. Now, he doesn't get credit for it, but this discovery was a real Kickstarter for his exploration career.
He sailed with two notable men originally, one being a soldier named Diego de Almagro, the other a priest named Hernando de la Calle. Bartolomé Ruiz, who joined on the second expedition, led an early journey across the equator. He encountered a raft carrying many precious metals and fabrics from Peru. He returned to Pizarro and then continued to lead as far as Ecuador. Almagro was sent back to Panama for reinforcements, and then Pizarro got orders from the new governor of Panama that the journey had be abandoned as no lives should be lost. Pizarro, at this point, drew a line on the ground and invited many to cross the line if they were seeking wealth and glory. 13 crossed, otherwise known as the famous 13. These 13 traveled as far as 9 degrees south. They discovered an Indian empire and many Inca artifacts. They claimed the new land they found as Peru, and it is believed that the name derives from a corruption of Viru, which is the name of a river.
Francisco Pizarro, at the ripe age of 48, heads to South America. He comes across an empire unlike anything he had seen before, with hundreds of paved roads and beautiful gold-clad jewelry everywhere. He fell in love with the empire, not because he wanted to make relations with it, but he needed the gold to bring back to Spain.
In 1528, Pizarro sails back to Spain because the governor of Panama is still opposed to what they were doing. Pizarro inquires King Charles I of Spain for permission to conquest, and it was granted. It was around this time that Hernán Cortés and Pizarro were in Sevilla at the same time. Pizarro was able to win Charles into his favor, was given a coat of arms, and was made governor and captain general of the province New Castile. This area was 600 miles south of Panama, all along the newly discovered coast. The 13 received substantial rights and privileges in the new land. In 1530, they sailed back to Panama with 180 men and 37 horses. Pizarro was later joined by 2 more friendly ships, and in April, they made contact with emissaries of Atahualpa, who was the emperor of the Incas, and they were residing near Cajamarca.
Francisco Pizarro was determined to take over the Incan Empire through his conquest for gold, glory, and God. He started off by doing this simply by laying eyes on the city of Cusco, the capital of the Incan Empire. He gained access to the city simply by a guise of peace and friendship, the white banner, if you will, gained access into the town through a big banquet for King Atahualpa and his royal family, had a huge feast for them, and they enjoyed the feast, and by the time dinner was over, most of the royal family was dead, and King Atahualpa was taken prisoner, captive, outside the city, forced to become a Christian, and ultimately killed shortly after.
After conquering the Incan Empire, Francisco Pizarro made many exchanges with the people in South America, including animals, including disease, but most notably the potato and the food that they brought over to the Old World.
So between about the years 1700 and 1800, Europe had a massive population spike. For example, Britain, whose population nearly doubled, went from about 9 million to about 17 million people. And this was largely due to the transplantation of crops from regions such as South America, like the Inca, where the Spanish had captured that plant and brought it back to Europe with them. This was incredibly important for Europe because potatoes are such a hardy plant that it could be grown in areas where other crops were sort of difficult to grow. So in some sense, potatoes really fueled the growth of the West and sort of the economic development that occurred there. Even there's a famous example of Louis XVI wearing potato flowers in his buttonholes to sort of promote the use of potatoes as a good crop source.
Pizarro was in the city that he had founded, Lima, at the time of his death. This is where he lived the last 2 years of his life. Pizarro was attacked by Almargo's adherents. It is said that Pizarro, on his deathbed, drew a cross of his own blood on the ground, kissed it, and cried, "Jesus," as he fell.
In this short film, we discussed the exploration of Francisco Pizarro, his encounter with the Incan people, and the exchange of goods and other things across two completely different worlds. This revolutionized Europe, and would put Pizarro down as one of the most famous people in European history, and give him a legacy that would last hundreds of years.